today's video, we are talking about why a man is not spending money on you, or why men don't spend money on you in general. Do you find that other girls get spoiled, taken out, have wonderful situations happening to them? Men are just happy to just spend on them. And then there's you. You have to pay half or all of it, or pay for everything. What is it about you that makes you feel that men, for some reason, don't wish to spend on you? See you on the other side. Hello and welcome. My name is Chengi. I am your dating and relationship expert here at the Black Swan Relationship Academy, where we teach you ladies how to present as a high value, high status, and high worth woman that high quality men find completely irresistible. If you are a gentleman, there is some content for men as well on our Instagram as we expand our services. Now, just a disclaimer, there will be an outfit change coming up real soon. And that is because when I recorded this video, I didn't record the intro. It just got cut off, sent it to editors, came back, and I was like, what happened to the intro? So I'm actually recording the intro right now. And we're going to start picking up from the point where I talk about days of old. And I was just really setting a context for you that there was a time when these things were not in question, where by virtue of being a woman, you expected or anticipated, or at least relied on the men around you to provide. There was a time in all of our life, well, certainly in my life and in previous days gone by, where it was a rare thing, a weird thing for a woman to even pay for herself when she was in the company of a gentleman. And so we're talking about in the olden days, how things were done were really just a matter of a man's masculine pride, and a lot of a woman receiving was just a matter of her feminine essence. It wasn't really political. There wasn't much to it. There weren't a lot of stories that went with it as it does now. Now there are a whole heap of stories that go with it. But then it was just really about being a gentleman and being a lady, and everybody really playing their part and being in their feminine and their masculine. So I definitely look forward to you enjoying the rest of this video. It was certainly a thing of male pride. It was really about the men themselves feeling that it was part of their identity to ensure that whenever they were in the company and the presence of a woman, they would take care of her. This wasn't because the society of women imposed it on them. It wasn't because they felt entitled to it. It was simply a sense of his own masculine identity. And definitely in Africa, where I was growing up at the time, masculinity was not something that was rare as it is in the Western world. It was common. It was how a man identified and sat more as masculine, because in an African context, to eat, to live, to survive, there is no bailout. There is no one's going to give you a handout. There is no social services of any kind. A man must hunt, he must work, he must do what it takes, he must go from door to door, he must pursue, he must work to get everything he has. And all of those systematic things actually harness and solidify a man's masculine energy. We live in the Western world, and, even in developing nations where there's quite a lot of privilege in those areas, you find that men are going to sit more in their feminine and be concerned more with what they can receive and what they can have and what is fair. When a man is concerned with fairness rather than winning, rather than when it's not fair, women can do this and men can't do this. You see, masculine energy is conquering, competitive, controlling. The masculine is concerned with conquering. To conquer, one cannot be preoccupied with fairness, because often to conquer, there's going to have to be somebody who loses and somebody who wins, and there's never going to be fairness. So usually if a man isn't as masculine, he's really about, I want to conquer that woman. I want to have that woman. I want to compete against other men to get that woman. Therefore, I can't be having a conversation with this woman about what is fair and what's not fair. I have to show up at my utmost, win her, get her, give her the best deal. And so that is more the masculine energy man. So in general, if you find that men are not willing to spend, they're not willing to pay for dates, they're not willing to take you to nice places, spoil you with gifts and give you nice things and just create an experience with their money for you, it is often because they have been conditioned to think more feminine. They're mainly in their feminine energy. And this is why we're seeing it as a whole kind of way of moving forward. They have been conditioned, they have been guilt tripped, they have been bashed into becoming more feminine. And so this is a blanket sweeping, of course. It's just generalization, of course. But it is mainly because if a man is reluctant, it's because he is sitting in his feminine energy. He's concerned with what's fair. If I pay, you pay. If I do, you do. He's not actually interested in competing. He's not interested in conquering your heart for his own. He's not interested in controlling the dynamic that works in his favor. He is preoccupied with fairness because that is a feminine principle. Okay, it's not good, it's not bad, it's just feminine. Okay, the feminine is always concerned with fairness because the feminine is preoccupied with relationships and the quality of them. Okay, we can't get all into, if you want to understand the difference between the feminine and the masculine and go into it, please do the Feminine Mastery Masterclass and join the Black Swan Nation or make contact, and these things I explain to you. But that is the number one reason. So it's really incumbent upon you to be really aware of what is masculine energy, what is feminine energy, how does the masculine show up, how does the feminine show up, so that you don't find yourself in a relationship with a man who really resists and has a hard time giving and getting into his pocket and feeling some kind of way. And if there's a man watching this who is going to be leaving a horrible comment or whatever, again, if this is triggering to you and you're a guy, it's no judgment on you. That trigger is an indication to you as a man that you are sitting in your feminine energy. That is not good, that is not bad, it is what it is. And chances are you probably need to really be putting your attention and your time on a more masculine energy woman who is happy to lead, to conquer you, to compete for you. All of those things, a woman that you can attract and not go and get, all of those qualities will be found in a masculine energy woman, in which case, if you can meet that woman, it'll be a beautiful waltz where the masculine woman and the feminine man come together. But if you are triggered by what I've just said, that is really you connecting with yourself and identifying that you are in your feminine. The next point that men may not be spending money on you is that men tend to multiple date, as we are now doing as ladies. What that means is if the expectation is on the guy to be the one that spends, it gets super expensive for him. If he's dating 5-6 girls in a month and all 5-6 women expect him to pay and he's no millionaire, this is going to be a very expensive gig for him. But this is what's really important for you to know. In those list of 5 or 6 women, there are women that he is spending money on, or potentially one woman that he is absolutely 100% taking out to dinner, buying gifts, planning holidays, etc. with. Definitely. There's that one woman that he wants to win, the one woman he wants to conquer. The rest of you, the rest of the women that are not in that one woman or 2 women, if he's got a little bit of money, when those 2 women, they're all competing for the reserve spot on his bench, or they don't have a reserve spot. They're just for good night only, good time only girl. Men are not going to spend any money on somebody they're window shopping for. So he's looking through the window. Nobody wants to pay to try on a top, right? You just want to try it on, see if you like it. And if you like it, you'll pay for it. But you don't want to pay before you try. That's because really you're kind of iffing and butting about whether you like the top or not. So this is sometimes where a masculine man can actually be dating a few women. He has his top 2 or top 1, and the rest of you who are being invited to coffees and drink dates. So I'm going to tell you this for free.
okay, because this channel is for free. I have never been invited to a drinks date. I lie. I've been invited to a coffee date and a drinks date, and the only two people that invited me to those dates were people that I went on a date with for research purposes, because part of what I do as part of my job to stay in touch and boots on the ground is to go on dates for experiments and just to see how the dating market is moving and just feel my way around so that I'm not just talking from my head but from experience. And those were 2 dates that I went on that were for experiment only. And I deliberately chose them knowing and getting an understanding of their income level. And I just wanted to date the average British man at the time. I wanted to just date the average British guy because generally the men that I date tend to be quite wealthy, but I wanted to see what it was like. And so I went on those dates, and those were the 2 dates that I went on. And they were pleasant enough. They were lovely enough. And I am not anti people going on drinks dates or coffee dates. You know, if you're under 25, you should do only that as far as I'm concerned, because you just want to be able to meet people, get to vibe with them. But if you're a woman who is looking for a husband, dating for a commitment, these are not dates that you particularly want to go on, for the simple reason that you are really vetting at a way higher level. You are vetting for the father of your children here. You're vetting for the person who's going to be there when things are not great. If they're fussing and fighting over a dinner, then they're not going to be there to wipe your bottom if anything happened in a car crash or anything. You know, we're looking for really invested people who invest at a high level in everything that they do as a matter of who they are, not because they're necessarily trying to impress you, but as a matter of who they are, and they invest at high levels. So for myself, I always get invited to beautiful dinners. I always get invited to beautiful places. I always get invited, even if it's not like a Michelin star restaurant, it's going to be a beautiful gastropub, but I'm often always, I don't remember anybody, it's always dinner for me. And that works for the guys because I like to eat, and eating is a good thing. I want to thank you so much for your support of this channel. You mean the world to me. And I am so grateful that your likes, your subscriptions, your comments make this work possible. I'd really want to encourage you, before you go any further, if you are enjoying this content, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with somebody that you know will absolutely benefit, because you're changing not only your life, not only the life of your friends, but the lives of women all over the world and children in ways you cannot even begin to imagine. So don't forget, before we get back to the program, to hit that like button and share, subscribe, and comment. Thank you. But the point I'm making is these men, could afford to do this, but also they saw me as a high investment. Men will look with their eyes and say, okay, this is not the kind of girl that you just invite, or this is not the kind of girl you don't spend money on. Men know by looking at you. So it really has to do with your value, how you present yourself, and the caliber and class of woman that you are. Indicates to men that this woman I can get away with not actually paying for anything, and this one I'm not even going to talk to her unless I'm paying. And I've had men tell me this over and over again. Everything about you just says, if you're not paying, don't talk to me. And it's not something that I consciously put out there, but it's just the nature of how I vibrate in the universe. Even with my friends, you can't be my friend unless you're somebody of real great depth and love, and you're just a quality human. And so this is why you are not getting men spending on you, because they see you as affordable. They see you as cheap enough. You are low value in your behavior. You accept silly dates. You accept silly responses. You're accessible. You probably sleep with them on the first date. You go for Netflix and chills for first dates. You stay on the phone for 100 hours with a man like you got nothing better to do after they just met you. You dress provocatively. You may as well just be walking around in your underwear for all we care. These kinds of signals will never make a man feel that he has to invest. So if you're seeing a man not investing, not wanting to invest, it's because you're never seen as the star of the show. You're never seen as the dream girl. You're not seen as the woman that this man has to have. I don't care what philosophy a man has, what podcast he's listening to, or how angry he is at the world. When a man meets a woman that he believes is dream girl status, he'll bankrupt himself. We don't want that as a as a method. We don't want men bankrupting themselves. But trust me, if a man sees you as high value, he will not have a conversation with you about who's paying. Okay. The next thing is that these are more secondary, but we have to also face the fact that most men can't afford to date. A lot of men date because they're being driven by their horniness or their desire to get laid. They're not necessarily dating because they're in a position in life where they can. They haven't got enough money. They're just hunting to get laid. And when men are in that position and they can't afford to date, they are going to get all in their feelings about paying and spending money on you. So if a man has no job, he just doesn't have it, you're never going to have any money spent on you, and you won't have any emotion or love spent on you either. You won't get any time spent on you either, because the masculine man has to give to love, to fall in love. The falling in love process is a giving process. He falls in love with you as he gives to you. And so if he is broke, then he's not going to spend money on you. I mean, it should be simple for those of us who like to date broke men, because we think we're doing the world a favor and we're showing that we're good women. I don't know. He's not going to spend money on you. It's kind of obvious. The next thing is past negative experiences. Some men have been played, they have been duped, they have been stolen from, they have had so many horrible things happen to them. And so now they're wary that every woman wants to take from them. They don't trust themselves anymore. They don't trust their intuition to tell them if they think it's a good woman or a bad woman, because they didn't trust themselves the first time. And they just want to be safe. And, we have male clients who are very wealthy, and that is part of their fear, and that is justified, especially if a man is quite wealthy. Then, women's hypergamy kind of supercharges, and some of us are a bit more feral with it. And, we play with your hearts, because if you're a wealthy man, well, you don't have a heart. Your heart is made of pure solid gold. So sometimes a man will have a hard time spending money on you because he's been used before, he's been abused before, he's had women come in and out of his life, take his money, take his stuff, and leave him stranded. In any case, the only thing that concerns you is that he hasn't healed from that, he hasn't done any work on that, he hasn't moved on from that. So therefore, he is just not a good partner for you, because you can't be with a partner who's side-eyeing you or testing you or looking at you to make sure that you're not here just for his money. That's not healthy. So if it's the case and women have run off with his money or women have played him before, it's probably best for you to bow out, because you're gonna have a hard time paying for what every other woman did before him. Some people have their personal values. Some people have a value where they don't feel that it's their job to spend on you. And that's okay. We don't want to vilify men for not, it's their right. It's the right of any human male to not want to spend, right? And this is what we must afford a man. It's his right not to spend a penny on you. And it's your right to decline his invitation or his advances. As human beings, we all have rights. We all have a set of values. We all have a set of priorities. We all have a set of way of interpreting the world. Some men feel that by spending, they're buying you. They don't want to buy you. That's his philosophy of life. That's his interpretation of how life should be. That's how he sees the world. And that's okay. That's okay. We don't all have to see the world the same way. We all don't have to agree. We all don't have to want the same things. And that's okay. And if a man makes it clear to you that spending money on a woman and investing in a woman and investing financially in a relationship, as well as investing emotionally and spiritually into a relationship, that's not his bag, that's not his thing, that's not how he moves. He's actually looking for somebody who will invest with him, for him, instead of him. That's okay. That's okay. That's absolutely okay. We have to, as swans, give human beings the right to be human beings, right? We are swans and we date swans and we live in the swan world, and that's what it is. We don't have to impose our personal standards on other people, but we can allow other people to have these standards, reveal their standards, and still be respected and honored just, you can't date me. It's that simple. You can't be my husband. You can't be my fiance. You can't be in my life. It's just that simple. Whatever your reasons are, this is the standard that I hold for myself. This is the value that I know that I bring into the relationship. I, for one, am the sort of woman that when I become your woman, I give you the world, the absolute world. It's an all access pass here, okay? You will be loved on. You're gonna be the most loved on man in the world. Like, other men will envy you. So I know what I bring, and so for me to ask that a man be comfortable and happy to invest in me emotionally, spiritually, financially, is the least he can do for what he gets in return. And if you can't say that about yourself, if you can't hand on heart say that about yourself, and I'm not talking about culture saying, I'm the table, I'm so amazing, I'm talking about if you can't hand on heart say that, and if we can't speak to your exes and ask them what you were like and what they got out of you, if your exes are not begging to come back into your life, honey, it doesn't apply to you. But that's okay. We can help you become that woman that every man regrets losing. I hope that this video was helpful, and I hope that it helps you grow. If you need more of our support, you can find us at the Black Swan app on all of our social handles, and contact us. Let us know if you need your help. We're here for you, and we'll see you on our other video. In the meantime, do take care of you. Love you lots. Bye-bye now.
Simple steps to join Black Swan community. Download the Black Swan app from either Google Play Store or Apple Store. Launch the app and tap on register. Put in your valid information, then tap on continue. Put in the verification code sent to your email to authenticate your account. Then log into your account. Be sure to accept all permissions displayed at installation stage to enjoy all the cool features in the app. You can now enjoy community of high-value women with support from coaches and trainers. Book calls with coaches, chat, post, and interact with the community. Enjoy!